Now, I'm sure this is something that comes up regularly. So, someone's injured in an accident. Again, they maybe they're off of work for a period of time and things like that. So, setting aside what you might be able to recover from the lawsuit for them ultimately, what are the typical ways you see, if at all, that their medical bills can be paid while the case is ongoing, that they have some source of income? Are there any ways for people to make sure that they can continue living while they're going through all this?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. And that's where sometimes it is frustrating for people because sometimes there is. Let me give you an example of where there is. I mean, in the auto law context, when somebody's involved in an accident, with your own insurance company, automobile insurance company, typically you're going to have what's called first party medical benefits. So your own insurance company, no matter who's at fault in an accident, is going to pay for whatever you have in your policy. Okay. And then after that, once that money is exhausted from your own auto insurance policy, then your health insurance kicks in. But where sometimes it's very challenging, Pete, is if somebody's involved in an accident, they can't go back to work. Okay.
Right.
And let's say their employer doesn't have any kind of a short-term disability or long-term disability policy. Again, you go back to your own automobile insurance company, there's probably going to be some wage loss benefit. Again, it's policy specific, depends on what
Right.
you have. And many times that's not going to make you whole. It's not going to compensate, it's not going to reimburse you, I should say, dollar for dollar for your wage loss. So sometimes sometimes there's a real hardship for clients. If there's no long-term disability, short-term disability policy through work, it's tough because the insurance company again, in our motor vehicle accident scenario, the insurance company for the negligent person, they don't have an obligation under the law to continue to pay your wage loss in real time. It's an element of damages that we calculate to try to, once we figure out all the damages and we're working with that insurance company to try to settle the case, that's
Right.
relevant. But in real time, they don't have an obligation to pay for your wage loss. So sometimes it is a hardship for folks.